Here are your spoilers for Beyond the Gates on Friday, January 16th, 26. It's Friday, soap fans. And here we go with the end of the week goodies. In Friday's episode, Chelsea has major news to share with her family. This BRCA gene testing has really hit every aspect of the show, and we are at home feeling these fictional characters we have grown to love. Chelsea's news will likely have as much impact as the initial phone calls Danny and Nicole received. Naomi and Jacob used to be the couple that could be depended on to bring laughter and a sense of safety and reliability. Not so much anymore, as all they seem to do now is argue and fight. In Friday's episode, Naomi feels pressured by Jacob. Maybe if Naomi talked to her husband, like they used to, and they found their way back, they could actually solve what's going wrong in their relationship. In Friday's episode, Isaiah comforts Eva. So far, this couple is showing all the signs of being the real deal, and this relatively slow burn is looking good. No rushing things. Eva having someone she can lean on when things are rough is amazing and exactly what she needs, as one thing is for sure in Fairmont Crest: drama and Kat are only a doorstep or an episode away. While one new couple is looking great and another does not. Well, from one person's point of view, anyway. In Friday's episode, things heat up for Ted and Shanice, while Derek does not like what he sees. Ted and Shanice, I have said since the elevator incident, look amazing together and make such a neat, wholesome couple that you can really support. Ashley has moved on as well, it would appear, if the scenes with her new colleagues say anything. Grayson Perez, played by Jordi Villasuso, is doing a great job of distracting Ashley from the Derek saga she left behind. Speaking of Derek, seeing Ashley with Grayson definitely stirs up some feelings. Will we see a dark Derek emerge? Make sure to check out The Scoop and the next week's sneak peek for a deeper look into what's to come this week and what you have to look forward to from your favorite characters and not-so-favorite characters in the DMV. Hey babes, welcome back to Gossip Delight. It's your girl Daisy, and trust me, today's tea is scorching, steamy, and absolutely unmissable. Buckle up, because we're diving straight into the drama. Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of January 19th to 23 indicate the CBS soap will gather its cast to have a roundtable discussion to talk about what's happened in Fairmont Crest so far, and what's to come. Beyond the Gates just released its promo video for the week of January 19th, a little earlier than usual, and CDL has the scoop. As of this writing, it's unclear if all 5 episodes next week will center on the cast talking about their characters and storylines, or if it'll be a one-off show. The discussion will take place in the Dupree mansion, on the couches. With that said, the Beyond the Gates preview starts with Clifton Davis and Tamara Tooney entering the Dupree family home's living room. Tooney begins by stating, "This is the perfect opportunity to familiarize yourself with our characters and the stories we've been telling." Meanwhile, Davis notes, "We'll be including all the secrets, all the lies here in Fairmont Crest." As Davis is talking, scenes of Keith D. Robinson and Daphne Duplay are revealed, as the two enjoy a chuckle on the couch. Then, a close-up of Marquita Goings giggling is shown, as well as Time and Kyle Durrett chatting, only to flash a Bill-esque smirk. Colby Natasha Nixon then asks her co-stars, "Am I the only one who is nervous here?" The camera flashes to Ronnie Rose Mantilla as she laughs at what Nixon has said. Then, a scene from Season 1 at Haley and Bill's wedding is shown, where Danny Dupree pulls a gun on the couple. Fans may recall the dramatic moment, and a close-up from the past clip has Nicole and Naomi Hawthorne looking terrified as Danny shoots in Bill's direction. Clifton Davis smiles and looks at Carla Mosley as he states, "Wild child," while she nods and notes, "I know!" The preview progresses with another old Season 1 clip where Martin Richardson and Vernon got attacked by Kenny and his brother on the side of the road. Claiborne tells his castmates in the roundtable, "Oh, how brave of a show to tackle something like that." Then, a past Leslie Thomas scene from Season 1 pops up, as Man Grant states in the discussion that she's having so much fun. As the preview wraps up, Davis appears once again, next to Claiborne and Mike Manning. The veteran actor seriously exclaims, "If this secret were ever to go public, it would decimate the entire Dupree family." Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of January 19th to 23 hint that the show is going to do something out of the norm, as they provide insight into the dynamics backstage, while also giving fans a recap of Season 1 and teasing some dramatic moments to look forward to in Season 2. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Thursday, January 15th hint that Haley Hamilton will clash with Danny Dupree, while Ted Richardson has an unusual request for Eva Thomas. Haley caught Danny in an embrace with Bill Hamilton in his office at the close of Wednesday, January 14th, and she was both shocked and enraged. It's not hard to see that these two women will clash, and clash hard, but will Bill defuse the situation? He always seems to take Haley's side in these circumstances, but seeing as Danny just tested positive for the BRCA gene and his daughters are affected by this, will he try to calm his wife down? BTG fans need to brace for an intense scene between Bill's current wife and his ex-wife, with him in the middle. Across town, Beyond the Gates spoilers for January 15th. Note that Anita Dupree will reach her limit. The woman is not only battling cancer, starting chemo, but the test results for Danny, and now the testing for her granddaughters will have her feeling overwhelmed. Will Vernon Dupree help calm her down? Meanwhile, Ted will request something of Eva Thomas that will once again have her at odds with Catherine "Cat" Richardson. The relationship between the two sisters is still very dicey, so what exactly will Ted ask of her, and why would he place her in this terrible position in the first place? In other news, Ashley Morgan will update Shanice Johnson and Naomi Hawthorne on something. It sounds like she'll provide some steamy details about her date with Grayson Perez. Did their night together sizzle, or did it flop? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Lastly, Jessica will propose something to Tyrell Richardson. Is this about the upcoming cotillion, or possibly attending UCLA? Jessica seems to be pulling Tyrell in a different direction than his family wants, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next with this young Fairmont Crest super couple. Beyond the Gates spoilers reveal some major moments are slated for the January 16th episode, so it'll be a show viewers won't want to miss. We'll hand it to Beyond the Gates. They sure know how to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. CBS' newest Sudser is airing a special episode, Beyond the Gates, Inside Fairmont Crest, on Monday, January 19th, and peeling back the curtain with a look at all of the first season's explosive drama. Plus, the actors are sitting down to talk things out, and as Carla Mosley jokes in an exclusive clip, there is plenty to air out. "I have punched you," she laughs, pointing towards Marquita Goings. "I'm so sorry, I slapped you," she adds, of Timon Kyle Durrett. "I terrorized you both at gunpoint, and she turns towards Sean Freeman, "have had tea with you more times than I can count." That's one way of putting it, but that's just the start. There's the rivalry between Danny's hubby, Andre, and her ex, Bill. Then there's how Haley was best friends with Danny and Bill's eldest daughter, Naomi, before she went and slept with her dad. And, well, how about just checking it out below? Still, it's not all backstabbing, besties, and betrayal. The show's also about family in a big way. In fact, that's how it started, way back in Episode 1, as Tamara Tooney recalls, introducing herself and the Duprees, Clifton Davis, Daphne Duplay, and Mosley. She then asks if they remembered that first big scene where Anita shared her gratitude for the Duprees gathered around her. "I wasn't acting," Tooney shared, "because I truly felt so proud of each and every one of you." And those words meant a lot, not just to her, but to everyone who shared in that momentous first episode. Colby Natasha Nixon looks back with a laugh, recalling how nervous she was. But as Brandon Claiborne tells Tooney, "The words that you were saying, it calmed me. I was like, no, this is my family. I'm gonna be okay." Beyond the Gates spoilers imply that Bradley "Smitty" Smith and Martin Richardson have always approved of Tyrell Richardson's girlfriend, Jessica. Still, will her influence end up tearing him away from his two dads and the rest of the Duprees? Jessica is a nice girl with good values. She obviously went against her peers when Tyrell was being bullied, and his bad attitude was what halted their teen romance the first time around. With that said, she also has very strong opinions on some of the things his family holds dear. Martin and Vernon Dupree were hoping Tyrell would attend Banneker University, close to Fairmont Crest. However, Jessica wants to leave the little town and head to UCLA, so Tyrell is starting to contemplate that college option. There was also an issue that arose between the young couple during the week of January 5th and 9. While Tyrell's sister, Samantha Richardson, is excitedly gearing up for the cotillion, Jessica is disgusted by the event and believes it to be elitist. Tyrell now seems hesitant on participating in the gala, when his entire family will be there. The drama surrounding Jessica, her opinions, and her strong influence on Tyrell may spiral over the weeks and months, especially as the two submit college applications. The cotillion is one small issue the couple faces, but the bigger picture here is how bad Jessica wants to leave Fairmont Crest behind, and how much Tyrell wants to follow her, simply to keep their relationship intact. Jessica is Tyrell's first love, and because of all the feelings that flutter around a first romance, it'll be hard to make a decision that goes against her plans. He may want to go to Banneker, but if Jessica insists on UCLA, will Tyrell leave home and his family behind to head to Los Angeles? Only time will tell. The Thursday, January 15th, spoilers for Beyond the Gates focus on another clash between Danny and Haley. Also, Anita reaches her limit, and Ashley has an update for Naomi and Shanice. It is common knowledge that Haley is beyond over Danny. Getting Bill's focus. She has no empathy for the fact that Danny recently tested positive for the BRCA gene. Bill, hightailing it over to Danny's house once he found out about the news, cuts into the time she could be using to turn herself into a Black Widow. The weekly spoilers reveal that Haley doesn't sit back and let her husband disrespect her in this manner. Look for Danny and Haley to clash in what will probably be an epic confrontation. Who will walk away the winner? And just a little aside, did everyone see Thomas eavesdropping on Haley at the office? Has her conversation with her cousin piqued his curiosity? Will he tell Bill what he overheard? How will he handle things? Anita Williams Dupree has undergone her first chemotherapy session. As soon as she returned home after the procedure, she found out Nicole had tested negative for the BRCA gene, but Danny had not. So she raced over to Danny's to console her, and she apologized for passing on the gene, something she had no control over. But that's the gist of this. Anita has no control over what's happening to her. As much as she may think she does, she doesn't, and that may be the reason why Anita suddenly reaches her limit. She's experiencing a range of emotions right now. On top of that, she feels betrayed and helpless. Will it take more than Vernon to help lift her up? Because this journey is more of a marathon rather than a sprint. In Tuesday's BTG, Ashley went on a supposed double date with Grayson, the lab tech, and Naomi and Jacob. Only there wasn't much interaction between the couples. At the Uptown bar, Ashley and Grayson quickly got to know each other. They flirted, and then they quickly decided to exit stage left and head to Ashley's place to get to know each other even more. Beyond the Gates. Spoilers for Thursday, January 15th, imply some interesting moments in Fairmont Crest. Danny Dupree and Haley Hamilton will clash, while Ted Richardson has an unfair request. Plus, Jessica has a proposition. Find out more about Thursday's episode below. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Thursday, January 15th, indicate that Danny and Haley will run into each other and have a massive clash. It feels like not a week goes by without these two having a heated confrontation. However, as Danny recently tested positive for those genetic markers that increase her chances of getting breast cancer, maybe Haley can give her a break. In related news, Anita Dupree will feel as if she's reached her limit. Chemotherapy, plus all the stress surrounding Danny's test, could take a toll on the Dupree matriarch. Across town, Ted will have a request for Eva Thomas. With that said, whatever he asks of Eva will place her at odds with Catherine "Cat" Richardson. What could this be about? Meanwhile, Beyond the Gates spoilers for Thursday imply that Jessica will have a proposition for Tyrell Richardson. Is this about the cotillion, or could this mean that Jessica wants to take their relationship to the next level? Then again, as Jessica really wants Tyrell to go to UCLA, will she ask him to go on a tour with her? Only time will tell. Finally, Ashley Morgan will have an update for Naomi Hawthorne and Shanice Johnson. Could this be about her date with Grayson Perez? Ashley's two closest friends will want all the steamy details. So will the good nurse kiss and tell? What storyline are you most looking forward to during Thursday's show? Comment below. Watch the CBS Soap Daily for all the Fairmont Crest drama and visit CTS regularly for the hottest Beyond the Gates news, updates, and spoilers. Here's what went down Wednesday, January 14th, 2026 on Beyond the Gates. When Nicole agreed to the double date from hell, Bill refused to drink any more of Haley's poison, and Marcel had a loaded gun for Leslie to play with. On Beyond the Gates, a hungover Nicole awoke to a self-care tray that had been left behind by Carlton. Vanessa, who had let herself in, thought that Nicole seemed disappointed to see her instead of him. But Nicole explained that Carlton had been more of a chaperone. Nicole lamented that, while she had tested negative for the BRCA gene abnormality, Danny, who had just gotten married and was finally happy again, had tested positive. Vanessa understood Nicole's feelings and deemed her more than qualified to help the family, suggesting that Nicole find something constructive to do with her survivor guilt. When Nicole seemed to write Carlton off as a nice guy, Vanessa reminded her friend that they all deserved happiness. Vanessa made her own case for being with Joey, prompting Nicole to suggest introducing Vanessa to single doctor friends, or that Vanessa could stand strong on her own. After Nicole said that Vanessa had chosen the most dangerous man she could so she could feel safe, Vanessa countered that Joey trusted her the way you used to, and implored Nicole to stop predicting her demise and just be happy for her. Vanessa promised to be better, but she was floored when Vanessa suggested that Nicole and Carlton double date with her and Joey. Beyond her own trepidation, Nicole wasn't even sure Carlton would want to see her again after the way she'd drunkenly carried on the previous night. Danny entered the banquet room of the country club, where she was accosted by Haley. Horrified when Haley smirked that Anita had gone from Cabrini Green to the cancer ward, Danny reeled upon Haley, adding that it was only a matter of time before Danny succumbed to the disease as well. Haley chirped that she knew Danny was scared to death about Naomi and Chelsea possibly inheriting the mutation as well, and waved their test results in Danny's face. When Haley dared Danny to open the envelope, Danny declared that she didn't want it, only to snap back to reality and find Pamela handing her a card to give to Anita, which was packed with photos of Anita and Danny from past fashion shows and events. Danny apologized, explaining about the BRCA gene and how its repercussions were shaking the whole damn family tree. Pamela was surprised that Danny was giving her the news in the austere country club rather than somewhere they could be obnoxiously loud, like the nightclub in Berlin that Pamela didn't want brought up to her. For her part, Danny wondered if her time in the spotlight were truly over and if the universe wasn't signaling her to go in another direction. Pamela stressed that the only thing that was different was that Danny now knew she was predisposed to higher risk of certain kinds of cancers, and that having that knowledge allowed Danny to monitor the situation carefully. However, whether Danny wanted to surge into her career comeback or pull back from it, Pamela promised she was there for Danny to lean on, even if that led to Pamela having to hold Danny's hair while she vomited. Pamela laughed that Danny could also vomit on Bill, yet endorsed Danny also leaning on her ex, if that's what was needed. Regardless, Pamela announced that someone needed to send a condolence card to Cancer because it had come to the wrong family. At Uptown, Leslie met with Joey, who was resentful that Ms. Thomas had summoned him. He stated that the legal entity of the clinic was now in place, which meant that their business was concluded. Leslie claimed that their partnership was just starting, and his attempt to change the name from the Leslie Thomas Outreach Project was just one more reason discussions would continue. Joey frowned that he was only interested in developing the clinic because of Vanessa, whom Leslie labeled the Bonnie to your Clyde. "I've had people killed for comments like that," Joey replied, with Leslie, despite her bravado, not knowing whether Armstrong was serious. Later, Marcel found Leslie at Uptown, though he said he was there to meet with someone about the care of his boat, the Sheila. Upon learning that Leslie had conferenced with Joey, Marcel hoped that she and the casino owner had parted ways, but Leslie purred that she liked playing with fire. She wanted to know if Marcel was going to teach her to walk the straight and narrow, or further lead her in the other direction. Marcel kissed Leslie. telling her, "You gon' drive me crazy." "Maya, you're back to work? Back to your place." At the hotel, Leslie was in the process of stripping Marcel when she noticed that the detective was still wearing his gun. Marcel growled that he was packing heat, and Leslie unholstered the weapon, aiming it around the room. Malone could tell that Leslie knew how to handle a gun. Leslie said that her ex-husband had owned a few and handed the firearm back to him. Then, Leslie threw Marcel onto the bed. In Bill's office, Haley dispensed a few drops of poison into a teacup just as Bill returned. When Haley offered Bill the tea, he barked that he wasn't going to drink any more of her poison. Haley bristled until Bill said that he was joking. Haley worried that anyone who might have overheard might have gotten the wrong impression. Bill apologized for running out on her after learning that Danny had tested positive for the BRCA mutation, saying he needed to be there for their daughters. After Haley sighed that she wished she could be there for the family, Bill reasoned that the tone had changed because of Anita's illness, and that Haley might find success if she reached out to them. Haley was none too pleased when Joey showed up without an appointment, telling him that she and Bill weren't going to listen to any further attempts to coax Bill into running for office. Joey smiled that he was there for legal advice. After Haley left to text Naomi, Joey explained to Bill about the clinic and how he'd partnered with Leslie. Bill warned Joey that Leslie was a menace, something of which Joey was already well aware, which was why he wanted Bill to look over the clinic contract and install protections in case Leslie pulled something. Bill was stunned to learn that Joey wanted to name the clinic after Doug, since McBride had been an alcoholic gambler who had mysteriously perished after trying to take Joey down. Joey greeted Vanessa, who chastised him for giving her such a weak kiss in view of the country club patrons. After satisfying Vanessa's implied requirement, he told her about having met with Leslie, who wanted to be more hands-on in all ways. Joey assured Vanessa he had Leslie handled, and that he had also solidified things by bringing Bill on board. It would all be worth it when they broke ground on the clinic meant to honor Doug. Vanessa was blown away by Joey's gesture, which Joey said he hadn't meant to blurt out. He'd wanted it to be a surprise. When asked why he was doing something so phenomenal, Joey replied that he wanted to show others how Vanessa was making him see the world. Plus, the clinic would help people and accomplish things that Doug would have wanted to do. When Vanessa beamed over how happy Donnell and Deanna would be, Joey flashed back to Marcel smirking that Vanessa had no idea that Joey had made her a widow. Nicole found Carlton at the hospital. He said that he would have called her, but he figured a ringing phone would have aggravated any hangover symptoms. After he invited her out for a drink, a green drink, something non-alcoholic and healthy, Nicole hesitated to mention the favor she wanted to ask of him. Carlton was amazed that Nicole wanted them to go on a double date with Vanessa and Joey. Calling it a big step, Nicole felt that the bigger challenge would be bringing Joey into the mix. Danny swooped into Bill's office, then caught herself apologizing for the old habit of just popping in. Bill had no issue and wanted to know if Naomi and Chelsea had gotten their test results back yet. Danny reported that they hadn't, then described how everything feels kind of important right now, which was why she wanted to thank Bill in person for showing up for their girls and not being a first-class jerk, as usual. Bill said there was nowhere that he'd rather be, and Danny snarked that she might have to change her opinion of him. Hearing that Pamela had given her tacit permission to lean on him, Bill vowed that he'd never stop caring about Danny or their daughters, and pulled Danny into a hug. Danny shuddered and admitted that she'd never been so scared, which was when Haley returned and exclaimed, "Would you mind taking your hands off my husband?" Upon interrupting Bill and Danny's embrace, Haley offers biting words of support to her husband's ex-wife. She passively-aggressively notes the worry in the air. Why else would you drop in to visit Bill in the middle of a workday? After Danny leaves, Bill lashes out at Haley for twisting the knife about their children's possibility of getting cancer. She apologizes, but Bill doesn't let her off the hook. However, they have a lunch reservation, and he doesn't want to be late. At Orphe Jean's, Jessica continues to trash the cotillion and expresses relief over Nicole not returning her messages about it. Tyrell notes it doesn't seem like her, but points out his grandma has a lot going on. The only way Jessica figures that being a debutante wouldn't suck is if Tyrell were her escort. They can be miserable together. Speaking of cotillions, Kat and Samantha check in on Anita and share dress ideas for Samantha, despite Vernon's concern that it's too much for his wife after chemo. Danny drops in and privately talks to her father about how, despite his reservations, she needs to let Bill in on what's going on with her and their daughters. When they join the others, Anita admits her husband was right, and this was all a little much for her today. In his office, Ted confides in Eva about Kat refusing to get tested for the BRCA gene and how worried she is about Chelsea. He'd love for Eva to reach out to her, but he'd never ask that of her. However, Eva takes it upon herself to approach her half-sister at Orphe Jeans. She's there for her if she needs someone to talk to. Kat tells her to stay out of her business and her family. Eva declares that she did this for their father, but when the day comes and Kat does need her, she will throw her words right back in her face, dad or not. After spotting Ashley and Grayson flirting at the hospital, Naomi is all too happy to fill Shanice in on their date last night. Ashley reports it was different, but good. Really, really good. She uses changing up her usual ice cream order as a metaphor to describe how good being with someone new was. 3 times good, apparently. Shanice quips about Ashley landing the man everyone in the hospital wants, but warns about getting her butter from the same place she gets her bread. Ashley wonders who's buttering Dr. Richardson's bread. "Not me," Shanice says a little too quickly. Ashley suggests she do something about that, which Shanice does when she coyly brings ice cream to Ted's office. Ted appreciates the afternoon delight and feeds Shanice, which leads to a passionate kiss. At Uptown, Jacob fills in Derek on Ashley's date. The fireman takes it fairly well, but does ask for details on who his ex is dating. Instead of indulging him, Jacob confides in his friend about Naomi getting tested for the BRCA gene. He fears it will make her shut down on him again. Derek knows they can get through anything because they're meant to be. Jacob doesn't believe in meant to be. A relationship works based on trust, communication, and the daily choices you make. Derek muses that sometimes it's hard to see what works and what doesn't when you're in the middle of it. Maybe that was his mistake with Ashley. "No," Jacob bluntly says. "Lying to her was your mistake." Derek takes that in stride as well, but is clearly affected when he sees Ashley flirting with Grayson at the hospital. The Friday, January 16th, spoilers for Beyond the Gates focus on Chelsea dropping major news while Ted and Shanice heat things up. Meanwhile, Isaiah comforts and supports Eva during a time of need. The weekly spoilers reveal Chelsea has major news to share with her family. Now, this could simply be the test results she has been waiting patiently for. She could be carrying the BRCA gene, in which case she would need to determine her next steps. However, ever since her grandmother's cancer diagnosis and her mom discovered she carried the BRCA gene, Chelsea has been rethinking her life. She even discussed her thoughts with Madison, who was surprised to hear Chelsea's take. The handbag designer said this crisis is helping her realize she didn't want to play things safe. She even talked about how she used to go to the airport and just pick a destination. She wanted to mix things up. As a result, Madison looked worried. Should we be worried about Chelsea's major news? It's 2026, and a certain busted love triangle is looking a lot different. Leslie is having fun and a little danger with Detective Marcel Malone. Although she still has her eye on Teddy, Nicole is having her own fun as she dates Carlton. And the Ted and Shanice romance has been progressing nicely. On Friday, the plastic surgeon and the supervising nurse continue to grow closer. Look for things to heat up between Shanice and Ted. Naomi's emotions are understandably all over the place with what her grandmother and mother are going through. And she's waiting for those results herself. Things could change even more if the test results come back positive. Naomi is a Dupree woman after all. They like to be in control, and when something happens that sends them spiraling, they don't always handle it well. The teaser suggests that Naomi feels pressured by Jacob, and when that happens, how will she react? If history is any indication, a massive conflict is likely to erupt. Perhaps the two should book an emergency appointment with their therapist to help them out. Over the holidays, Isaiah and Eva grew closer. She might have tried to sabotage their relationship at one point, but they got through it. On Thursday, she experiences some family drama, and on Friday, she must deal with some fallout. It's a good thing she has Isaiah around to comfort her. Finally, Derek does not like what he sees, which means he could spot Ashley with Grayson. The two quickly hit it off the other day. So much so, they're already going out on another date. If this scenario were to happen, what would Derek do about what he sees? Was Ashley calling off their engagement, his villainous origin story? On Beyond the Gates, Nicole has been dealing with a lot lately. Her mother's cancer diagnosis, family history pressing in from all sides, a divorce that didn't end cleanly, and new romantic possibilities arriving before the dust has fully settled. It's been one of those stretches where the character barely gets to exhale. This week, Daphne du Plessis stepped outside the story and shared something personal of her own, posting a poem that spoke directly to pain, faith, and the slow work of endurance. Du Plessis kept the caption on her Instagram post simple and direct, writing, "New poem, I thought God forgot about me." Daphne du Plessis. No putting it in some kind of context and no explanation. Just the words and the space to sit with them. In the attached video, she spoke plainly before reading. She said, "Hey guys, so I will be honest, this has been a very tough, emotional week for me." She added that there were a lot of personal issues going on, but we're getting through it because that is what we do. She also gave a nod to those who've helped her during this difficult time, because they always have my back, even if it's just to make me laugh. Make me laugh instead of cry. My village means the world to me. She then read a new poem that reflected her thoughts. There was a moment in time I thought, God forgot about me. Haven't we all had that feeling, no matter how much faith we have? I was left bleeding in the dark, screaming into empty spaces with a shattered heart. Days turned into months of silence, nights that swallowed hope whole, crawling through mud and ashes just to prove I could survive. I thought God forgot about me when my knees hit concrete floors, begging for a single answer while the devil knocked on doors. The actress continued her beautiful words, explaining that depression told her she was abandoned, anxiety insisted she was alone, and fear became her constant companion. Still, something inside her refused to give up, a quiet voice urging her to keep fighting when she had nothing left. What felt like abandonment became a place of transformation, where silence turned into a call to be still, and breaking became preparation. In the end, she realized she hadn't been forgotten at all, but carried through the darkest moments and reshaped by them. She ended with, "God didn't forget me, He was forging me in fire." Fan response was immediate, with @LacrisBook writing, "Thank you, D. Yes! God did not lose your file. Gratitude for this poem." @LGroup here added, "Thank you for sharing. I needed to hear this." And @Cecilia Specht called it simply beautiful, while @BeautyNiche thanked her for the vulnerability and reminded her she clearly has a strong village behind her. Du Plessis didn't steer the moment. She let it unfold. Sometimes that's the point. You say the thing honestly, and you let the rest arrive on its own. Beyond the Gates, 2-week spoilers for January 12, 2026 expose Bill Hamilton just snapping. He has had enough, and Joey Armstrong makes some serious threats. Monday, January 12th, we are in Season 2, and on Episode 7 of BTG. Chelsea Hamilton calls her dad, Bill Hamilton, with an urgent update. It's an SOS. I think Chelsea is going to tell Bill that they got their test results back. Well, the first layer of test results, and Danny Dupree does have the BRCA gene. Andre Richardson, meanwhile, has to draw a line in the sand. It sounds like Bill might try and run over to play hero hubby, but that is Andre's job now, not Bill's. Dr. Ted Richardson already advised Andre to kick Bill back into his lane, and I expect to see that happen. I can't wait for it. Dr. Nicole Dupree Richardson is there as a good big sister to comfort Danny. Of course, Nicole is very scared for what this means for her little sister. Carlton and Ted have a talk that's going to be awkward, but also is long overdue. I get Carlton's side, thinking, oh well, Nicole's single now. She dumped Ted, I can date her. But Carlton is Ted's longtime partner, and he's clearly in violation of the bro code. I think Carlton and Nicole are going to do what they want to do, and Ted be damned. Naomi Hamilton Hawthorne needs a favor from someone ASAP. Is it about her mom, Anita Dupree's, or Danny's results, maybe? Or maybe it's about getting her own test done urgently. This week, Dana Leslie Thomas tells Joey in a very snarky way that she knows all about Vanessa McBride. She's clearly making some catty comments because Joey tells Leslie he's had people killed for saying things like that. Joey grabs up his jacket and storms away from her at Uptown. I wonder if Leslie just lost her investor in the clinic because she was running her mouth about Joey's woman. Trisha Mann Grant is such a good actress. I know she's a perfectly lovely lady, but Leslie is so awful. She makes your skin crawl because she's just such a good actress. Tuesday, January 13th. It's Season 2, Episode 8 of Beyond the Gates. Jacob Hawthorne has a heart-to-heart chat with his dad, Elon. I'm sure he's catching him up on the Anita and Danny news and the fact his own wife may have this BRCA gene. I wonder if this might inspire Elon to chill out a little bit on Isaiah, because this is a reminder that life's short. We don't get forever with the people in our family and the people we love. Ashley Morgan is out on a date with Grayson Perez. He is an absolute hunk who works with her at the hospital. He also has a mom that he takes care of. He's super sexy, super sweet, and this is Grayson Perez's Beyond the Gates debut. I loved him over on Young and the Restless, but unfortunately, they killed off his character, Ray Rosales, a few years ago. Anita is home from her first chemo session, and of course, she's going to find out that Danny is positive for the BRCA gene. Nicole is negative, but mostly, Anita finds out that Vernon Dupree lied to her face when she asked if there were test results and he said no. Now, I understand that he didn't want Anita upset over that while she was getting her chemo drip. But she is not going to have it, and she's going to lay into Vernon. Nicole is spiraling while the Dupree rally around not only Anita, but also Danny, who's devastated and scared. This week, Bill asks Joey when he's up at his office, "Why are you here?" Joey says, "It's complicated." Bill says this might be a little more fun than he thought. If you remember, he could be circling back around about the political stuff. Or Joey may be asking Bill for help dealing with the paperwork for the clinic he's agreed to invest in with Leslie. I'm actually hoping that Joey finds a way to screw her over. But Joey may also back out of the deal because Leslie is disrespecting Vanessa. On Wednesday, January 14th, Season 2, Episode 9 of Beyond the Gates, we've got Haley Lawson keeping on with her plot to kill Bill and get that big payday and the house in the Caribbean. When she pours him a cup of that hot, toxic tea, he tells Haley that he's not drinking any of her poison. But no, Bill is not onto her scam. He's just tired of drinking the tea that doesn't taste great. You'd think she'd put a little sugar in there, or a little vanilla. Something to cover up for whatever it is that she's dosing him with. Plus, Vanessa is there for a friend in need. It's probably Nicole, but it could be Danny. Meanwhile, Pamela is there to support Danny, who's obviously scared for her mom, herself, and her girls. Plus, Leslie's got Marcel back at her hotel room. Leslie's getting freaky when she snatches Marcel's gun from his holster. Leslie's taking aim with it and saying that he has a lot to learn about her. Also this week, Naomi tells Ashley at the hospital she's had blood work done more times than she can count. In this case, it could really change everything. Chelsea is also up to meet Naomi at the hospital to get her gene testing done at the same time. They are hugging in support, but obviously, they're scared again for Anita, for Danny, and for themselves. Thursday, January 15th. On Beyond the Gates, it's Season 2, Episode 10. We've got Danny clashing with Haley, who is being insensitive about the Dupree family crisis. She loves to tell Bill that the Duprees aren't his family, and that she is his only family. But this hits close to home for Bill because his daughters might have that BRCA gene and be at very high risk of cancer. Of course, Haley's going to be jealous over any concern that Bill shows for Danny and any attention he's paying to his daughters. Ted asks Eva Thomas to do something that will put her in a bad spot with Catherine Cat Richardson yet again. I wonder if it's something to do with the Duprees and this cancer crisis, or if it's something to do with Cotillion and Samantha since she's involved. Jessica has a proposition for Tyrell. This may be more on the Cotillion issue, Or she may be pushing him on something else. Martin Richardson and Bradley Smitty Smith do not like this girl, Jessica, yanking their son Tyrell around and taking charge of him. Ashley updates Naomi and Shanice. It may be about her hot date, or it could be about Naomi's testing. I'm betting Vernon's going to use his influence to get those tests back on his grandbabies as soon as possible. Plus, Anita reaches her limit. This may be when she storms into Danny's house. Andre is yelling out that Danny may not be dressed yet, trying to alert her that her mom's there. But Anita doesn't stop. She keeps heading for the bedroom as Vernon's standing there with Andre. Anita is really irritated and tells Andre that she brought Danny into this world. Does he think she hasn't seen her naked behind? On Friday, January 16th, we're going to end the week on Beyond the Gates with Season 2, Episode 11. Derek Baldwin does not like what he sees, so he may spot Ashley out with Grayson. Also this week, Ashley's asking Grayson if he knows how some people can tie a cherry stem with their tongue. Apparently, that's one of her party tricks. He asks if she's going to do it there at Uptown, but Ashley says back at her apartment. Are she and Grayson going to leave? Obviously headed for the bed? Derek gets really jealous. Chelsea shares some news with the family. It could be about her test results or something with her and Madison. Ted and Shanice are really heating up. Looney Leslie isn't going to like that. Isaiah comforts Eva, and Naomi feels like Jacob is pressuring her. If Naomi is BRCA positive, I wonder if Jacob might push her to freeze her eggs. He's still hoping Naomi will agree to have kids one day. Some BRCA positive women opt for proactive surgery to remove their ovaries, their fallopian tubes, and their breast tissue because it drastically reduces your cancer risk.